Hi, I'm Mario Evon, and you're listening to Talk Truth, a weekly edutainment podcast discussing the things that most people are afraid to, but from a Jamaican perspective. From relationships, sex and sexuality, to the ins and outs of entrepreneurship, in this space we speak about almost anything with the intention to inspire, educate, entertain, and create a fair and balanced space where your truth shall become your power and set you free. Alright guys, welcome to this very next episode of Talk Truth. And yes, this person is looking at me like, oh, this is what really happens in real life. I have with me a guest, and today's going to be one of those kind of free, loose, fun episodes because I have maybe a Gen Zer, but we're categorizing him as Gen Z. He is a pharmacist now, recently, and we're going to talk about, I'm going to call it uncovering Gen Z. He was saying Gen Z, the passion generation. Well, that's what this conversation really is about. Exactly. Welcome to Talk Truth, Mr. Mischa Christie.
Yes, Mischa Christie. Yes, thank you so much for having me. It's really nice to be here.
Tell me about yourself. Introduce yourself. Who are you? Who's Mischa?
Who am I? Well, as you said earlier, I'm Mischa Christie. I'm a registered pharmacist.
Wow.
Yes, exactly. A registered pharmacist. But in my little free time off from actually saving people's lives, I do run a health blog over on MDC_X on Instagram. And basically, I just put out health and wellness content every week. And I put out videos every Friday for that. And also now recently now a YouTuber, so I'm on the YouTube space and I do videos every Tuesday, but that one's more of a personal thing.
Who are you on YouTube?
MDC Vids. So
gotcha. And MDC would be your initials. Can we share what the D is for? That's too much information.
No, that's fine. It stands for Deoro.
Deoro.
Yeah, Mischa Deoro Christie.
That sounds really exciting.
Deoro meaning golden. So
where does that part come from, the Deoro?
Spanish. It's Spanish.
It's Spanish.
In origin. Yeah, Deoro.
Oh, how you spell it then?
Deoro.
I'm sorry, we're spending so much time on this, but it's so important to know.
Yeah.
Deoro.
So Mischa Russian, Deoro Spanish, and then Christie English, I guess. Right?
Yeah, somebody came and gave you the Christie. I know, right? From way back in the back. All right, Mischa, that's exciting. So you're a pharmacist, and as you said recently, so you just graduating.
Not just graduate. How the program works is you graduate and then you do 1 year internship. So I graduated
technically in 2019. And the internship was 19 to 20.
Exactly.
And then now you're registered. That's like medicine, right? We do our internship, then you get your registration at the end of your internship.
There you go.
Gotcha. Where are you working now?
Where am I working now?
You're private. You're doing private work.
Exactly,
right.
Yes. But
in the parish of Clarendon.
In the parish of Clarendon. In this lovely, beautiful pharmacy called Sunshine Pharmacy.
Wanna go buy some medication and
we
things.
also do have a spa if you're feeling, tired and weary and want to, just stop by and get a little relax.
So you work in the spa too? You dispense the medication?
No, I just dispense. But I mean, if y'all want me to do something in the spa for y'all,
no,
I won't.
That's not
But
not legal at all.
It's not legal.
Does not sound good.
Exactly.
All right, well, this is a great start to kick into our fun conversation because I think people can already feel the personality you have, which comes through in your videos. And towards the end, we will plug all of those channels again because we want people to like and subscribe and share. Who says that? Every YouTuber. All right, so let's start with the definition of Gen Z that I found, and feel free to add or subtract. So Generation Z more or less comprises those who grew up deeply connected to technology, practically from the moment they became self-aware. Generation Z characteristics are interesting and specific, which include stuff like they're avid gamers and music goers, ever-present messaging on the internet, on social networks, and on mobile systems. They are truly the digitalites. They tend to care about trends, but they're quick to research top issues. So, give me your perspective on the definition of Gen Z in your words.
Well, that definition is mostly true. It's definitely true. But personally, I'm going to personalize it. For me, I wasn't dependent on technology from the moment I was self-aware. Because for me, growing up in Jamaica, first of all, and just in and of itself being on the cusp of being Gen Z and millennial. So I'm just like right at the mark. I just got in, it's like with everything else in my life, I just get in late. So
But you made it.
Exactly. I made it into being a Gen Z. So, like my early years, my very, very early years, I wasn't really like familiar with technology that much, but it's just as the time went on, you just get it was just like a rush. So after about, say, when I was 8 or so, it was just a rush of technology, and basically because I got everything late, it was just a rush of updates and so on. So I could get this phone, and then after I get that phone, this, that, so it's just basically I just became Gen Z really quickly. I became more into Gen Z really quickly.
You made an important point. You actually made our topic, and that's Gen Z in Jamaica, which is, I guess, still considered a third world country. So that actually does change the perspective of maybe why Gen Z might be different in Jamaica than in other parts of the world.
Exactly.
Also, for clarity, some sites will say Gen Z are people who are born between 1995 and 2012, which means the youngest person might be around 9, the eldest around 26. Some say 97 to 2015. What year were you born?
97.
97. So either way, based on these two definitions, you are in Gen Z
category.
What other characteristics apart from technology would you say define the Gen Z?
The Gen Z now. I want it now. I need it now.
As in immediacy.
I need to happen immediately. I need it to happen now. It's like, if I'm working on anything, I need to see results now. Else I feel like it's a waste of time. But
I feel like we're a Zennial. I'm an old grandpa, but maybe I'm atypical Zennial.
You're atypical, yes.
Yeah,
but that's just with us, because with a lot of stuff with millennials, they know that, okay, no matter if I started this thing and no matter if it looks like it's like a fast moving thing, it still might take a while. But for Gen Z, it's like, we see that result. I'm gonna start this today, and in this time it need to happen now. And if it doesn't happen in that time, you're gonna feel a way about it. So as a Gen Z, you have to be self-aware of that and just kind of say, it's gonna take a bit of time. You have to just trust the process, and sure, you might not see what other people might have, and things like that. But you have to just tell yourself, trust the process. And speaking of that, another thing about being Gen Z is just being more. What's the word? Being on social media more and seeing other people more. Right. It just leads you to that thing of comparing more, so you're more comparative.
Well, all right, I want us to get into more of this as we move along. Are there any more features? So we say technology is one. You came into that a little later maybe than the other Gen Zers. Exactly. Immediacy, so you like things to happen now. What else you can think of that you would say? And I mean, these might be characteristics of you as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. That might be me.
But I have seen these things in the Gen Z literature. Anything else comes to mind?
Anything else comes to mind? I feel like also it's just a higher tendency for us in this generation to be more graphics minded and less, all right, I'm going to sit down and read. So like when it comes
visual,
we're more visual, so like I'm not gonna want to sit down and read a whole book.
By the way, this is where I'm going to insert. And I've known this young man for a little while, but in our communications, every time he messaged me, he sent me a voice note. Is that a Gen Z thing? Is that yes. You did not want to type?
That ties in needing it to happen now, and I just can't bother read and type. So it's like, just record it quick so it happens quick. You might get a response quicker, things like that.
Also, the fun part was him reading my text responses while pressing the record on the voice note before he responded, which is actually very interesting because that's funny because I send voice notes, but I actually lean more to texting just because sometimes I don't feel to talk. But that's probably personal and not generational.
It might just be me.
It might just be me. M.E. All right, so I'm going to throw out a few other things that would highlight features. I saw on our site, it mentioned differences between Gen Z and millennials. It says less validation expectations, so we can probably see if that's true or not.
So less validation from the millennials.
I think the millennials require more of validation than you guys do.
Oh, really? Oh,
I hope I read it right. And it says more independent. I think they're saying you guys are the more independent. Right. So I think they're saying there are less validation expectations for the Gen Z. More independent, more entrepreneurial, more communicative, really. more competitive.
Yes.
More motivated by security.
Yes.
And driven by career and financial goals.
Yes, that sounds like me.
That sounds very Gen Z, right?
Very Gen Z.
So there are some positives in this. They're not just saying that you guys are tech hungry,
like just very impatient. That's one. No, there's definitely positives in what is associated with our generation, because obviously not everyone is going to be
exactly. There will be a spectrum.
Yes.
All right, let's jump into some broad life topics, and let's talk about Gen Z and how I guess maybe Gen Z could be good or bad in them. How you feel about Gen Z in the job world? So you've recently been certified,
yes.
if you want to put it that way, but you've been working for a little while.
That's well, yeah.
What are the benefits of being a Gen Zer in the job market?
Benefits of being a Gen Zer in the job market. It's honestly, you just feel like you don't need to be like, I feel like we're changing what being professional is.
Wow, in what way?
In a way where being professional is on the lowest key, like more like colonial, and more is coming from kind of just being like, basically they don't want you to express like Afrocentric stuff.
So like in the past they wouldn't want you to, but you guys are pushing that envelope.
No, we're pushing that envelope. No, we're like, no, I'm gonna wear my hair. Like John over there has long hair. Why can't I have long hair?
So you're really kind of, I mean, people could debate this, but you feel like you might really truly be that generation that has the Killmonger hairstyle, maybe a little hair color, afro.
Because the other thing is with
in the workplace,
Gen Zs in the workplaces, they don't care.
Right.
If a Gen Z comes up to me to fill a prescription and I have in, some corner or something, they just want that prescription
and
they want that in, yeah. So, but if you have, say, I don't like.
Yeah, let's be careful. Be careful. Be careful, and be careful of the age bracket too, because
okay, you know what? Let me not. But if you have someone from the older generation,
older person, right?
They would come in, and they'd probably want to go back to that the pharmacist, the lady pharmacist, the one with probably the processed hair that's up,
or the
natural hair that's up in one, clothes that's more conservative and so on and so forth, rather than say same girl over the other corner, same lady over in the next corner. She probably has probably like green hair or like purple hair or something,
enough piercings and maybe a visible tattoo,
and she probably feel, I don't know if they feel like they can do the work less, but they just would gravitate towards someone else. But having Gen Z in the workspace is just like, I don't care how you look, you just need to do my work and do my work efficiently.
And well, even though I don't need to state this disclaimer now, I hope anyone who is listening that's in whatever generation you are, take no offense, because at the end of the day, we know that there are exceptions to every rule.
Exactly.
And we also know that a lot of these things may be true, and we can't blame them for it because of what they were exposed to at the time when they were growing up.
Exactly.
I think I just had relatively liberal yet somewhat conservative parents. Mm-hmm. And then I went to school abroad, which may have helped a little bit. Yep. But I think even before I went away, I was open to certain things. But after I come back, let me tell you, when I come back, it mash up. And then I was like looking around Jamaica saying, so why people not do this? Why? What's going on?
Exactly.
But that is when you go to school in the US, that happens.
And then that just comes back to the fact of being Gen Z in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Because, there's definitely a time lapse, like not time lapse, time, what do you call it?
Like no, not a warp.
Not warp.
And I guess also this
delay.
The delay. And it's again
delay,
because of delay. I always like to say it, we are tout ourselves as a Christian nation.
There you go.
Exactly. And whatever percentage that really is in reality, our values tend to lean to that. And I guess with Christianity comes usually a certain level of conservatism, restriction, right?
Conservativeness, exactly. There you go. So that's why you'd have a lot of the older generation, more leaning towards things like that, because that's where it comes from, and you can't really blame them because that's what they're.
But it's a wonderful thing to know that someone can step up to a window and know that what matters more is that they're going to get the prescription filled, and not that you have a tattoo, and that the tattoo affects the accuracy of the
work, exactly. And a lot of cases
it happens a lot. I mean, and let's bury it, just kill it. I say kill it for 20 forever.
forever, exactly. And then in some cases you'd have the person with the tattoo and the purple hair doing better
of course.
over there. So
we know that this is no reflection of how well people work. What about closing gaps in technology? And I guess this is the same thing. If you were working for someone who is older, I figure a Gen Z person would be so tech savvy that they would really help to transform that.
There you go.
Space.
Because even in working at Sunshine Pharmacy,
right?
like found that I have brought in a lot of technological stuff, a lot of, different things.
Little things,
them. Yeah, exactly.
Automation.
Yeah, there you
social
go.
media.
There you go. Social media and stuff. Like, I'm kind of helping them to manage your social media page a bit. I wish I could be doing more, but I just don't have the time. But I do help them out here and there, and I've seen where it helps.
Right.
It's definitely good to see it. I've used the social media to help this clothing drive that I did the other day, and it was just so great to see. Because what we did was we gathered clothes and we just kind of dropped it off to different persons that would further spread it to different homes.
Right.
And it was just really nice to see people responding to the posts on Twitter, on Instagram,
and you
so
got
on,
and you got stuff, right?
We got stuff. People coming in and they're like, "Oh, I saw this ad, and are you guys still doing this?" And I always get the question, "Oh, are you guys done? Can I still drop off clothes?" And I love that. So I love seeing that.
Bring it, come again, put it in a corner for the next.
Exactly. I
put some comfortable on it. No make no mat eat it out.
Yeah, but it's just nice to see that bringing technology in a space can help it to more.
It's our modern day newspaper.
Exactly. There you go.
Let's talk a little bit about communication as a Gen Z person. Also, another name for Gen Z is iGen and Zoomers, apparently. I didn't know this, but I Google tells me a lot of things, and I hope that has nothing to do with Zoom. But
Zoom, right? Really, probably
I hope not. How do you think you communicate? So I read something that said you guys are communicative. Would you agree? And we know it will vary from person to person, but as a generation, what do you think?
As a generation, let me see.
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to slightly, just ever
but
so
texting
slightly.
is communication too, so it depends. It's not the medium we're talking about. We're talking about the actual communication.
Communication. I don't know.
I don't know either. I do know a few. I know quite a few. I don't know. I can't say.
Exactly.
I can't say. I don't have enough evidence.
There you go.
I don't have enough evidence.
The other thing is, most of my friends are millennials, and then I don't really have much Gen Z friends.
Yeah. What happened to your own friend?
That's what I'm saying. But then
never bother with them.
I don't know. The thing is, because even my close friends, like, we'll communicate, but it's like not that often. But we're okay, you know. But like, I guess when it comes to like important things, we will communicate, I guess. But like, I'm not sure about it being generally better.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you say that you're more entrepreneurial?
I definitely would say that, definitely, because I feel like it's, again, tied to, all these things are just tied together, but it's tied to just us being more into that technological space, and technology has made it so much more
easy to do multiple things at the same time. Yeah. They say you're the multi-potentialite.
That's what I'm saying.
Want the many job. Yes. You're a true Jamaican.
There you go.
All Jamaicans from birth were Gen Z.
Where Gen Z is, right? Because they just all had that mentality that like, I want to do this, I want to do that.
It said you can be considered a side hustle generation. More than half of them prefer to juggle more than one source of income. Nearly 1 in 5 Gen Zers want to run their own businesses, and the vast majority of them would like to turn pet hobbies into full-time careers.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Our generation is... we definitely value our passions, which is why I kind of call it the passion generation. We value our passions, which is why you'll see more persons entering the YouTube space, more persons doing more on social media, because what happens is we value our passion. So we're like, all right, I want to do something with my passion. And then guess what? I want to make money from it. So then you enter a space with that in mind, not even the money, but just doing it for fun. And then you'll find that after a while, it would just end up getting you income. And that's just the great thing about this generation that I actually do love. It's our drive to just go after our passions.
I love that about your generation as well, because I think I definitely span that generation of stability where you were forced to, and still Jamaica still leans that way, forced into quote-unquote stable professions. And we have seen over the years, with the change in technology, and even technology aside, that people can be successful chefs, artists, painters, whatever, and do really well. There's no doubt that it may be more challenging to be a creative than a professional. But people can live if you push it, and why should we be unhappy in our short life?
Because that's what I was just saying that the other day. I'm like, listen, everyone gets such a short amount of time, and I just feel like it's so cruel for someone to feel like they can force you to do something or plan your little short time for you.
Right.
I just feel that's so cruel.
So for it to be controlled from the outside, or from you to walk a pedantic, boring life, doing something that you don't like.
You want this, but like, no, I want to be more stable and this and that. But like, you just have to take risks. And I mean, you're not gonna die from following your passions.
That's what my friend said to me, because I still have conflicts with my job, and my friend said to me, what's the worst that could happen?
There you go.
And it's true.
It is true.
And there's some people have never taken the risk. And I mean, I have before, so I know what it felt like to take the risk. And it wasn't easy, but I didn't die.
But you didn't die, exactly.
Still there.
Because like, even when it's like comes to like approaching different people for different stuff, or, you know, maybe your entrepreneurial business or so on, the worst I could tell you is no, or probably just not answer. So
you mean like when someone says, can you do a Be My podcast, guess at last minute?
Yes, exactly.
And I mean, the worst you could have said was no.
The worst you could say is no.
And then I would have just probably asked somebody else.
No, sir, this is too short notice.
Too short notice.
And that's the worst I could have. Or they could say yes and be here.
And be here talking about a fun topic.
Exactly.
Would you say that you're competitive?
Yes. I don't think people might see it on the outside, but on the inside, I know that I'm a very competitive person. So like, I think that also is the reason why I might not enter certain spaces, because if I know I'm going to fail at something, I'm not going to enter that.
And say,
there you go.
Right.
Exactly.
Breaking tables.
There you go. But if I know that I'm good at something, I'm definitely entering
in
that
there,
space. I'm
like
going in that space. And I'm going to try and be the best there.
Let's talk about how competition ties to comparison. I think certain generations, I think all humans have issues with comparing ourselves to others.
Exactly.
But let's talk about Gen Z as it relates to images on social media, being born into technology, and what you would have grown up seeing. Because when I was younger growing up in that, you'd never see even a booty on a TV. You wouldn't even be able to see a thong on a TV. If it was a butt, it was covered by cloth.
Yes.
No, if I turn to VH1 or MTV, I can easily see almost everything except for a areola and a nipple. I mean, once you can, once you can cover, once the kitchen sink is covered up, then everything else can show. And I mean, I always thought to myself, if you're born seeing stuff like that and it's not weird, you know, it's not taboo, then it must affect your mindset, because for you, your starting point is like,
nothing.
So different. Like nothing.
Like there's nothing holding you back, kind of.
But I want to talk about it in relation to comparison. So I want to talk about it in relation to perceptions of others. But let's talk about comparison.
Comparison, I definitely feel like it can have a little. I feel like it can have a negative and a positive effect. So let's go into the positive first. For comparison, I feel like it can have a positive effect on you to strive for better for yourself. You know, because like if you see all these pictures of somebody that's doing something similar to you, and you're there in your little 9 to 5, and you're like, you want a stable life.
Yeah.
You've been living that stable life, but you know in the back of your mind you had this thing that you want to do.
And that there's more.
And you see that person that's doing similarly, you know, something that's kind of the same to what you want to do, and you see them doing the thing.
Yeah.
Then you're like, you know what, let me explore that space and let me put in the work like how I see them putting in the work, and let me try and achieve something close to that, or even that or more. You know, so that's a positive that it can have. And basically, let me see what else. I
know this one is going to be hard to tie to our generation, because I know a lot of this is so individual based.
Exactly, so individual based.
So, I mean, it's going to be hard for us to really set the generation. But I do think there are some commonalities in the generation.
Exactly.
Because I think I have a greater capacity to step away from a social media space than maybe someone who feels tied to it. Like I really have that differentiation between analog to digital. I have that differentiation between pre-internet to internet. So for me, it's an addition. It's like an adjunct to what existed
it's
before,
an add-on,
as opposed to this is life.
This is life, exactly. Yeah, because me, I'd love to be that one who's like, I'm taking a social media break. Like where I'm right now, I don't think I can do that. You know, just yet.
I can't come off yet.
Exactly. And I'm planning one in the next about 2 years or a year. So.
I mean, when you take it in 2 years' time, it'll be for 5 days.
It'll be for 5 days. Exactly.
Let's take a 5-day break in the next 2 years.
In the next 2 years.
I am dead. You're motivated by security. You said yes.
Yes, exactly.
And are you driven by career and financial goals? Are you passion driven or money driven? Or all driven?
Let me see what I am. For now, where I'm in life, I feel like I'm more passion driven.
Right.
But in the back of my mind, I'm running off the passion drive.
Right.
So that I can, you know, safely enter that money drive, kind of. If you can
but
understand
hoping that the
hoping
money will come from the passion.
There you go.
But you're still working a 9 to 5.
But I'm still working a 9 to 5 to support my passion, basically. Hey. You know, there you go. So like, I'm not like, I need this job to like pay me the most money ever and still be unhappy, you know. Right. I'd rather be happy in a job where I'm not getting paid as much as that other job, if you understand.
Right, to do something you prefer.
Exactly. And I don't think we talked about the negatives of the comparison.
Negatives of the comparisons. Let's go.
Let's just jump back to that. I definitely feel that that can have an impact in body dysmorphia.
Oh wow, you nailed it. I was going to go right there with it.
There you go. Because when you're seeing someone, because trust me, you have people that are just
Instagram is intense.
It's intense. And you have people that are just born
with good
fine.
Them is born good genetics. Yeah.
Like somebody can be eating everything, eating down the place, and it just
not get no weight.
They're not getting no weight, nothing, and they do nothing, and they just look like that. And they, you know, seeing them post up pictures, and you're like, "What me I do wrong? Why me can't look like that? This and that."
The bodybuilders out here might just be saying you're not disciplined enough.
You're not disciplined enough.
But you know what? As a medical doctor, I'm going to say, we cannot deny some people born with certain genetics, some people born with certain body type, some people born with certain shape. And no,
I think I have the gene where, like, if me smell like a piece of food over there, 5 pound, like, I swear.
I mean, I think everybody can transform into their best self,
course,
and even a self that looks totally different from their old self.
I believe that's possible. And it's not anything about hating yourself. It's just
it's not the same journey for everybody.
It's not the same journey for everybody. Exactly.
And some people need to recognize that. Some people born with some hypertestosterone genetics where them have certain muscle tone and a very lean, high metabolism.
Because for me, I'm not tooting my own horn, but I know for a fact, if I was to start the gym today, probably like in a month or so, I'd probably like get to a space where I'm like, oh wow, you know, that looks nice. But for some people,
how you can be certain?
No, but like, no, the thing is, I've worked out before. I've done hardcore stuff before, and like I see quick change.
You know, it does happen for some people like that. Some people do manifest quick changes.
I just know that they've
been
in the
go
gym
all years. Them go
all years, and I'm just
and
like,
nobody can see, and them say, oh, you still got gym.
You still got gym, exactly. And that must be so hard. It's so rude. That is rude. Yeah, it's so hard.
I always feel like some people can't tell that I go to the gym, and I always feel a little way when people are like, "Do you work out?" Because I'm like, I've been working out for years.
I need you to be like, "Oh, you work out."
But it does make you know though that if I didn't work out, I would be a totally different body type than what I am now. So this is the body type I have when I work out.
When you work out,
but you wouldn't know that.
There you go.
We have to be sensitive. All right.
So some people don't know that in the base of things, they don't really know that or think about that.
They're not really sure where you're coming from.
Exactly. So when they see it now, they're gonna feel bad and so on. And then, you know,
I've seen you post older pictures of you when you were younger, and you were a chubbier kid than you are.
Chubby. I wasn't chubby. I was.
You are a fat kid. You said it, and you look different now as an adult.
I look different, and I didn't do anything. I just grew. That's another thing. You see, people would know that. You know, people kept asking me, "What you eat? What was your diet? What is?" I'm like, I just grew.
Adulthood does have some benefits.
So there you go. It's you know, it has its negatives and its positives.
But you think it could be a more hyper comparative generation? Because there definitely will be. And that's where the mental health issues come in, and why I think more people in the generation may have certain types of mental issues. Yeah,
exactly. But the thing is, too, it's different people do react to comparison differently. Because you have somebody who be like comparing themselves to someone, and they're like, "All right, I want to get there.
Just drive.
Let me do this."
Yeah, drive. Mm-hmm.
Rather than someone else is like, "Oh, I'm not like that."
Right.
I'm sad. Let me not even try, and so on. You know, and you know, it's not saying that there's something wrong with that, but it's just good to step back sometimes and look at what the truth is and focus on yourself.
I think you have to kind of love yourself, and I think if you start from a place where you love yourself, even when you compare, you might be more driven to change than to
change. Exactly, than to just be stagnant.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, when I was growing up in high school, cutting didn't exist. So now as a doctor, when I see young or teenagers there's people present with cutting. It always strikes me as new, because growing up it was something I'd never seen. Like if people were parasuicidal, they would or suicidal, they would take tablets or try to cut them, slit their wrist like a single slit or something crazy. But the cutting thing is really a thing that might be millennials. I don't know where it started, but like it started in that generation. But very fascinating.
It is, and sometimes it's not even like suicide.
No,
it's just for
it's attention, body harm. There are a whole lot of things. That's a whole another episode. But it was yes, we're not going there. We're not going there. But I remember seeing it for the first time and thinking, "Wow, I had never seen this before." Exactly. I guess things find new ways. All right, moving on. This is a good time to talk about this then. Gen Z and acceptance. I see you guys as a generation of self-acceptance and acceptance of others. I mean, I grew up in the generation where homosexuals are to be killed and dead. We won't use the words that were used, and all this music did it. We're now in a generation where music can hardly even show any kind of discrimination to anyone.
We will cancel you.
Without cancellation and serious repercussions. Record labels dropping you, sponsorships dropping you. You have to apologize.
Exactly.
I even know the songs that were anti anything. They bleep out the words that were accepted back in the day.
Exactly.
How do you feel about your generation acceptance?
Oh, I'm proud of my generations with that. With that, I can say that yes, Gen Z is a more accepting generation, and it just comes from a place of I don't need to get it. I don't need to get it. I just need to respect it. Okay, I see you. I see you doing a thing. I don't need to understand why or whatever, but I just need to leave you alone. In terms of like, why am I killing up myself for what you're doing? That's weird.
So this is right back to the pharmacy thing again. It's kind of like you can put behind whatever that thing is and not have it as the main thing.
There you go. Exactly.
Is it because you were born into seeing TV and all of this kind of exposure where other things were made mainstream? Sexuality is in everything. How to Get Away, murder. Every Netflix show have some gay couple in it.
True. Let me see if I feel like it's just that definitely has something to do with it. Like seeing it and then just who I am as a person.
So it's a personal.
So it's a personal thing, and definitely what you're being exposed to all around. I'm like, people are doing it, so. I might not be doing it, so I don't. But I don't see why I should interfere with someone's life and say, "Don't do that," or something like that.
Right.
I'm a pharmacist. I see somebody being an engineer. I'm not like, "Why are you doing that? Be a pharmacist." That's just
so
weird.
My listeners may argue that based on your job, that you are also probably a more accepting person based on the field that you're in.
Based on the feet,
but I do agree the generation is more accepting.
But I don't think it's definitely my job. I think it's just who I am as a person. And I think it does affect my job, because when anyone comes in, I don't really.
You can't be judgmental on the doctor and the nurse and them. So it don't make no sense.
It don't make no sense. But you do have.
Of course, you have them. But I don't think it's a good type of trait to have as a healthcare professional, because you have to deal with everybody.
I heard this story on TikTok the other day that someone went to a doctor's office for they were doing a checkup, and they asked the doctor for a condom for condoms, because they couldn't really afford it back then, and the doctor was like, "Oh, you should wait until you're married to have sex. I'm not gonna give you these condoms." I'm like, what? This wasn't a Jamaican doctor, by the way. It's just an American story. But I'm just like, how can you have that mindset in healthcare?
Well, I hope the person found some condoms.
I hope so too.
That's interesting. All right. Same topic about acceptance. So that's your kind of personal view, which I think represents a generation. When you think of your friends, millennials or Gen Z, you find that they are more accepting too than the older people, you know?
Oh, definitely, yes. I know my friend group
for a fact
are more accepting than even probably like step back people in say upper millennial.
Upper millennial.
We're definitely more accepting. Like my friend group, I know, we're definitely more accepting.
And would you say though, growing up in Jamaica, that even in high school spaces and university spaces, that translated into those spaces, or not so much?
Well, back then, I don't know.
Our culture is strong, you know.
It's strong. It's very strong. Maybe honestly, back then, when your mind is just so malleable,
and people aren't as mature in all fields.
And people aren't as mature. Maybe back in that space, you have things happening that you'll see and you allow.
Bullying and teasing
and so on, that you'd probably allow. And, looking back at it, you'll be like, wow, that was really bad. That was really bad. I would never enter that space again. I would never be friends with that person,
I think that's high school, though.
That is high school. But to be honest, my high school experience was not bad. I never really had it. Even though I was fat and stuff, I never had bullying. Honestly, I was never really bullied. I mean, you'd have the jokes here and there, but then I'd just come back with something strong. And
you had a strong clapback. I never had a strong clapback growing up. I clapback came in adulthood. All right, let's move into another interesting phase. This bit of information is in relation to millennials, but I think because they're close by, it may relate. According to Pew Research data, marriage in American society has been steadily declining since 1960. Young couples are waiting longer than ever before to say I do. Millennials are 10 to 20% less likely to have wed in their 20s than their parents. And the median age of first marriage, why does that sound like you have to get married again, is now the highest in modern history. And that is 29 for men and 27 for women. And this is millennials.
Imagine Gen Z.
What about how you feel Gen Z is processing relationships in terms of we're doing marriage and then we're going to actually work backwards because I want to talk about some of the lighter relationships too.
I get you. Marriage. I definitely feel like we're probably going to push that age further up, probably into the 30s. The thing is, I feel where Gen Zs are is, as you were talking about being entrepreneurial, and especially in this time of the pandemic and so on, we're definitely pushing being more entrepreneurial and so on. So we are just using our 20s for, look, I'm building this thing.
It consumes you,
you know, and building this thing, sure, I can have someone, but at the same time, I don't want to like have a whole like marriage and stuff. Because then when the marriage comes, that's when like the joint bills come and the kids come, and that's what? A different one. It's
joint income comes.
Also yes. But you know, we just kind of want to start out for your income first, you understand, before you jump into something with someone else. And then also just, I guess, the fact that we're just being more exposed to more divorces, seeing more divorces. We just kind of want to hold off a little bit until we know we're good, and then we have time to make sure that this person is good before jumping into something.
If it is that you were to get married, did you have an age in mind?
Me personally,
growing up, 30 was my age.
Growing up, 25 was my age. Anyway, I'm 25 next year. I'm nowhere. My age, probably 32. That's a very specific number. But
I know, but that's kind of where you see, because you're looking at 24. No, you're 25 this year?
I'm 25 next
year. So that would be
in March.
So 32 would be in 8 years. A lot can happen in 8 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot can happen in 8 years. All right, fine. So you're thinking 30s. All right. I had said 30. I'm still not married. But it's all good, you know. I'm happy right where I am.
There you go.
We are going to move back. Let's dial back to other relationships. How is Gen Z processing meeting people? Are you guys doing it on Tinder, Bumble, these apps, dating apps? Are we missing? Oh, Instagram is the biggest dating app of life.
That's what I was just gonna say. I don't think anyone.
You don't even need a formal dating app.
There you go, dating app. You just slip right into the DMs. Slip right into the DMs.
Yes.
And you just kind of talk to someone, try and make sure everything is right. But then.
How much right can you find in a DM?
That's what you're getting. That's where that comes into play. You get so much from just talking to someone in the DMs, and
it's texting someone in the DMs too. No, actually, in all fairness, I don't know what people share in the DMs. Got their pictures, their voice notes, and there is video.
Exactly. But I was it reading? No, it was watching. I would never read. I was watching. I was watching a video.
Gen Z never reads.
And it was talking about. There you go. It was talking about what is it called? The expectancy phenomenon. Mm-hmm. So it's like the longer you talk to someone in the DM, the longer you build this expectation of what they are, of who they are, of who you're talking to. Exactly.
Wow.
So it's
right, because you're forming a picture.
You're forming a picture.
And the more you get, the more information gets clearer.
And then remember, on social media, the person not posting certain pictures, they're just posting that picture of, I'm here, I'm there, I'm lit, I'm live.
Right.
Yes. So you have this expectation of who it is. And when you meet them in real life,
they're not that person.
And they're not that person. You just feel like, who is this person? Who am I talking to right now? This is not the same person. Am I being catfished? Am I mentally being catfished or something?
This is the catfish generation.
I don't think so. But it's just, having that expectation and having it being shattered. And it just leaves you with being either, all right, am I going to accept this person for actually who they are? Or am I going to try and find what I'm looking for? Because again, it links right back to being on social media and seeing what you're seeing. You're seeing this perfect couple all the time. You're seeing these perfect people people perfect for each other. Oh, we met in this coffee shop. I accidentally spilled coffee on her, and then this and that. She got my number.
Don't crap on my dream.
Yes, yes.
I talk about it all the time in the podcast.
Well, yeah. And that's the story they're sharing. That's the story they had. Sometimes I lie, and, but you don't know that. You're just looking for that, and when you don't get that now, it's like a constant search for what is kind of not real, and I guess just leaves the generation with not being able to be too stable when it comes down to relationships, because you're always looking for that perfect thing.
Yeah, I think the visuals make you think perfection, then the interactions don't live up to the expectation, and then you'll always never be happy. But here is my devil's advocate statement. Anytime I get into these comparative conversations about generation and life, it's kind of like the school you used to go to. If you met somebody who went there years before you, then I go, boy, my school is not the way it used to be when I went there. Exactly. And then you're going to say the same thing, and the people come after you keep saying the same thing. Which means nothing has really changed.
Nothing has really changed.
And even though social media is presenting people to you in this form, don't you think that when you meet people in real life, they do the same crap? Exactly, you meet someone and they present something to you, which is a smoke and mirror or whatever. And then sometimes years down the line, even after you marry them, they're like a beta.
Yeah,
they're like
there you go.
Some weird, strange thing appears. Maybe it's happening faster on social media. I don't even know.
I think that's probably what's happening. It's just happening faster because, back in the day, you meet someone in real life, you talk to them. Basically, what you do is just kind of present your best self.
Right, so you're dating in real time.
In real time. And then after a while, you figure out, wow, this is not that person. So I do guess maybe the social media is just doing it more. It's just doing it quicker.
You know what? And I think they say somebody, pretty much wear the hat on the sleeve. I think social media reveals so much about people.
Yeah.
That they don't even realize. So you have the picture with them looking all lit. Then you have a story where they're speaking, and then you hear them speak. Then you have a DM where they're expressing more personal things. Stuff. And when you put everything together,
it's kind of them. That's
really them.
That's them.
Right? So that's a dating profile in a nutshell,
There you go.
But I do agree maybe there's more instability of relationships. What about, I know you're a virgin, but what about the big SCX? Are the Gen Zers, and if your mom is going to listen to this and you don't want to go here, let's just move to the next topic. I have no problem. But since you're a virgin, what do your friends say about sex? Are the Gen Z generation more direct about sex? And I say that because, again, older generations were a little bit more careful about how they entered into the sexual space. Is this kind of like, yo, Moa, and I do curse and touch, but today I want to keep it clean.
Keep it clean, yeah.
Yo, I want to smash. It's like, do we enter the DM and say, yo, you're nice, I want to smash?
Oh, I know people who do that. I know a few people.
And then is that behavior of a 20-something-year-old, or is that Gen Z behavior?
I feel that that's a personal thing, man. In terms of like,
how direct you are,
how direct you are, exactly. Because
I think you guys have greater sexual comfort, and I think that you guys may have a greater
more acceptance of your sexuality in terms of like,
if you want to have adult consensual adult sex, that space is easier to enter for the Gen Z.
Yeah,
overall,
I think so. Yeah, I think so, because I definitely feel like you can probably have two persons being like, one person be like, hey, yo, you kind of look cute, and the person be like, yeah, you too, and then they kind of just be like, so you wanna, and it's like, yeah, and they want,
and that's that, and that's that,
and they both can know that, yo, nothing's gonna really come out of this, but it's just that, hey,
I guess that's easy. That's how life should be, I guess. Well, no, it depends on how you. Depends on how you look at life.
It depends on how you look at life.
For me, as long as people are safe,
and
it's consensual, I think that those are two important things to me. Safe more than anything.
Yeah.
Cause I see a lot of things on the other side of the desk. Let's talk about COVID-19, and let's use this as, I guess, maybe our closing talk. Yeah. What has COVID-19 been like for you? And I'm going to just use that as you as a Gen Z person. But I mean, what changes? What is it like? What's life been changed?
For COVID-19 has definitely, the situation on COVID-19 has definitely, I feel like it has just opened my eyes to, hey, look, life is short. Go after your dreams. Follow your passion.
Right.
Because it was literally because of COVID-19 where I started MDCRX.
Right.
And later on, I said, hey, I've wanted to do YouTube for so long. Let me just start doing YouTube. It's going to be harder, but guess what?
Right.
I want to do it. So
and we didn't lose the internet.
There you go. We didn't lose the internet, surprisingly, for this year. Because we didn't have hurricanes. So I'm like, okay.
You know, if we lose the internet, then we know that we're done.
I'm done.
It's a wrap.
Exactly. But yeah, so COVID-19 has definitely opened, the situation has opened my eyes to, hey, you can do so much more than we are right now. Because the situation had made a lot of things just more accessible, you know, and maybe not even more accessible, but just like it just brought more stuff to light, you know, more stuff in the digital space to light. Yeah. So I've just found out that I didn't even know that you had like substantial courses online for free. So I did a lot of in May, when I discovered that there were so many free courses, I ran
You're running.
I ran it red.
So you have like a marketing diploma now.
I have a digital marketing certificate, social media marketing certificate. What else did I did something on Harvard.
You can start your own company.
Listen, I can do my own thing at this point.
It was actually really cool that people did that.
Yes, because I'm like, I was just sitting down. I wasn't really doing anything. I think I just started MDCRX, so I was like, I'm not really doing anything else but working on this. So let me just do these courses. And those courses would help me to kind of push MDCRX in the right direction, I guess. You know? So yeah, it's just opened my eyes to a lot of things. And just the fact that, look, you can do so much with the internet. And I always knew that you could do a lot with the internet, but just in COVID, seeing just what people are doing, again, that's how I responded to that comparison.
It was like that big boot.
It was that big boot. I'm like, look at what people are doing. Look at what this person's doing. Look at what that person's doing. And I know that if I'm in this space, I could do something. I could definitely do something. But I feel like I was always just kind of putting myself down. So I just kind of just pushed that way. I was like, let me just do this.
And I'm sure you've seen the rewards of it, meaning that whatever you put out, even if it's not a bumper crop of people, that it always touches somebody. There's somebody who messages and says, yo, this was good.
There you go. There's always someone that
or funny or
like,
something.
This has been good. This was funny.
Informative.
You know? This has been informative. I like that you did this topic. I was wondering about it for a while, and now you can answer some of my questions. And they can go on to ask me something else, and I can probably do all this more research and then answer them. You know, it feels really good. It feels good to just kind of help people in that.
It feels
space,
purposeful.
It feels purposeful. I feel more fulfilled. You know, because like helping people on MDCRX with like health and wellness stuff, it feels really nice. Then over on my personal channel on YouTube, it just feels nice to make people laugh and just be dumb in a space, you know. It just feels
madness.
Nice, right? Bag of madness. So yeah, I definitely feel like I've found.
You're finding a way to combine your passion with your 9 to 5 in a way.
My 9 to 5. That's definitely what MDCRX is. That's definitely what MDCRX is. That mixing the passion and the profession and passion.
The pandemic made me do medicine with me, and it was the same thing. I tend to not promote myself as a doctor because I love my entertainment character so much, but I said to myself, you know what, let's stop dimming the light on him.
That's what I'm saying.
He's here, he exists, he works. He's been working and people don't even know that he's here, and now it's like that's all they see because I haven't done any music, but still
it's similar with me too, because in my mind, you know, I always had more passion for like the media space and so on. So in my mind, it was always, okay, I'm going to do pharmacy and I can, you know, I guess be a pharmacist, but I want to do stuff in the media space. So my mind was more, okay, let me start a YouTube channel. Let me do this and do that. But then it's just one day I was like, why am I pushing this down so much? Let me embrace it. And maybe if I mix it with my passion, then it could be something, you know, while also having my passion not really separate, but just like another aspect of me, you know.
And it does express your personality, which comes out, and it's a low-hanging fruit because you already trained, you already did pharmacy.
That's what I'm saying.
So you know the information.
So I know the stuff. You know. So I'm like, I sat down, I'm looking at it, I'm like,
you don't even have to think about topics.
I don't even think about topics.
You can just come up
I literally sometimes on a Thursday night, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. Oh wait, I can do that. I just turn on the camera and just talk and then turn it off and go to bed.
I don't know if you've done this topic. I have a fun one for you. You should do erectile dysfunction and the medications people use.
Okay, I could definitely do that.
And how them going pop down if them take you to other things. I know, but I mean, here Jamaican men really.
They'll probably do it in February because I have like the next 3 weeks planned. So exactly.
I was like, is that erectile dysfunction month?
Yeah, that's literally how I think. You know, like whenever I think of something, I'm like, is there a month for this? You know?
Because I'm sure there is.
Exactly.
Mischa, thank you so much for this conversation. Before we wrap up, just give me any final. We're talking about Gen Z. Any final words on Gen Z? Any encouragements for Gen Z?
Any encouragements
for people who crap on Gen Z? What you want to tell the world?
All right,
about
so
Gen Z.
people who crap on Gen Z, leave us alone. We are shakers, movers, and revolutionizers.
Evolutionaries? What's the word?
Revolutionaries, whatever. But yes, we're here in the space. We're shaking it up. I actually am proud of my generation, looking at them, seeing them because I feel like they're the ones like pushing all these riots and so, not really riots, protests. And so on. That, shaking things up. I love seeing my generation do that. Keep being entrepreneurial. Keep, not letting anyone tell you what you should do with your life.
Right.
Definitely follow what you know of yourself. No one knows yourself more than you.
That's right.
Keep being accepting, So you might not understand what someone is doing for whatever reason, but just, leave them alone and just continue being you. Just, you need to focus on yourself. And that's basically what, being Gen Z is all about. Just kind of like going through life, just kind of being the best you and just being kind to everybody and so on, being entrepreneurial, this and that. It's just a great generation to be a part of.
I love it. I need a Gen Z person to come work in my office.
Office, exactly.
Mishka, where can people find you? Give them all of your social media. And just tell them which one is which.
Okay, all right. So you can find me on Instagram at MDC_RX. That's M D as in dog, C_RX, where I do health and wellness content on a weekly basis, so that you can watch a video here and there, or probably even read if you like reading. I do text posts as well for everybody who likes videos too. And videos, so don't worry, it's fine. Also, you can find me on YouTube, MDC Vids, so that's MDC space Vids with a Z. I basically do weekly entertainment videos if you guys feeling a bit down and bored and want to be distracted, go on with your foolishness over there. So you can just give me a little subscribe, like on my videos and thing. If you want, you can follow my personal Instagram, that's MDEOROC. Now they're kind of confusing, I know, but just break it down. MDEOROC. That's the personal Instagram if you want to follow. And I'm just at Mischa Christie on Twitter. So that's at Mischa Christie, MISCHA Christie. And Mischa Christie on LinkedIn if you want to, follow me there and give me a job,
I always like to say, Google me, Google him.
There you go.
Guys, like, subscribe, follow, and share his stuff. This is an amazing young man doing great things. And we met on social media, and he actually has a video with us doing what we call that one again.
It was as an interview. It was a part of my series that I have going called TTI. The time I became Mario Evon. Right. Yeah. So you guys should check that out. Yeah. We talk a little bit about my journey. Talked about being
multi-potential light,
exactly.
Right? And he says a little bit about also his passions there as well.
There you go, exactly.
And I rarely ever do this, but I am actually going to close out this episode live. I always kind of add it on at the end, but I'm going to do it. So thank you guys for listening to Talk Truth. And you know what you need to do? You need to go and download this on a podcasting app. That's the best place to listen. You can also find it on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Mario Evon. There's a whole playlist with all the videos. It's audio mainly, but there are actually visuals for some. So subscribe to my YouTube channel. And everything right now on social media is now at TLKTRTH. That's Talk Truth without the vowels. And you can email us at talktruthja@gmail.com, and the website is talktruthja.com. Vowels are in those. All right, guys, this is Talk Truth, a place where your truth shall be your power and set you free. Until next time, bye.